Failing grades for Newsom from his own state auditor. What do you mean failing grade from Newsom from his own state auditor?
Huh.
So his own state auditor wouldn't give him an F, right? Because he's got to make him look good. Where apparently these are not good things that just came in. So let me read this to you. California's nonpartisan auditor. Keyword is what? Nonpartisan auditor.
Yes.
Just failed 8 state agencies run by Governor Newsom, sending a clear message to residents, your state is broken. The auditor's new report identifies the 8 high-risk agencies that not only exhibit serious waste, fraud, and abuse or mismanagement, but also have failed to take adequate corrective actions. 4 of these 8 agencies attained this dubious distinction during Newsom's term, including the Social Services Department, which was added this year. The report found, for example, that massive payment errors rates in the delivery of food assistance benefits could cost the state $2.5 billion in state funds. It also discovered that fraud and improper payments for unemployment benefits continue to cost the state billions. The report added that inadequate eligibility determinations for Medi-Cal, it put billions more at risk, and it noted that California's 6 straight missed financial reporting deadlines have put the state's credit rating and federal funding in jeopardy. There's more. The auditor noted that states' information technology projects language for months or years as department uses in antiquated systems, despite Silicon Valley being a stone's throw away. And alarmingly, most states' entities continue to fall short of minimum standards for information security. The security of physical infrastructure to its cause for grave concern 49 dams. Ready? 49 dams. Post an extremely high hazard to life and property, with the number of dams rated poor or unsatisfactory increasing by 73% over the last 2 years. Another revealing example involved the California Air Surface Board, which continued paying one of its employees $171,446 salary 15 months after the employee had left the agency. Beyond this latest report, the staggering waste and efficiency of California government is unmatched. The state has spent $18 billion so far of an eventual $128 billion on a high-speed train, yet has laid no tracks for the last 18 years. None. They've spent $18 billion, but not a single track has been laid. And another audit found that the $24 billion on homelessness and lost track of the funds with homelessness soared. Nobody knows where 24. California, guess what? You paid for all of this. Congratulations to you. And nothing happened with it. Vinny, I'm going to come to you first. Your thoughts?
And Pat, that's what a great opening for. I was waiting for you to say, ladies and gentlemen, the 2028 Democratic presidential nominee. That's what you guys want, and that's what you're going to get. He's the favorite on Kalshi and Polymarket. Good for you guys. And guess what? They're going to vote because anything that doesn't have anything to do with Trump or the administration, J.D. Vance, any of them, the Nazi, Hitler, guess what? They're anti-winning, Pat. They're allergic to winning, okay? And then, are you guys noticing a trend? All this scam, by the way, his new name is Gavin New Scam, because look at all these Democratic cities. Look at Minnesota. Look at Minneapolis. What is going on? And everybody's wondering why everybody's broke and the country's struggling. Pat, $70 billion. Can everybody take a time out and let that hit? Because nowadays you hear 5 billion, 10 million. Nobody really thinks about it. 70 billion. And because of him, Pat, notice how he's been quiet, guys, because all these stories are coming out. He's not doing his dances and his podcast. He's kind of shut up for a minute. I was doing a little research, Pat. Did you hear about the Genesis plan? It was a California Medicaid scheme tied to massive federal money abuse under Gavin, started in 2022. So check this out. They raised ambulance reimbursement rates by 300 to 500%. Rates jumped from $339 to high as $1,600 per one ride in an ambulance, okay? So the local hospitals and counties were required to send the inflated amounts to the state through intergovernmental transfers. The state then requested federal matching funds, usually around 50%. So then after receiving the federal money, California paid private ambulance companies the original lower cost. This is all under Gavin New Scam. And then, Pat, the state kept the difference between the inflated rate and the real cost. I mean, it's brilliant if you think about it. So investigators say taxpayer money from across the country was funneled to prop up California's budget. That's why he's always bragging. He's always bragging about the numbers. And it's one of the most convoluted and dishonest taxpayer frauds uncovered in modern medical finance reviews, Pat. Billions siphoned, and this is the resume of the future of the Democratic Party. And I'm gonna finish with this. For all these past 10 years, okay, why we always wonder now, how does a Mamdani, guys, how does a Mamdani get elected? How was AOC beating JD Vance in some of these polls? And how this is what you guys have to offer, because for 10 years, all you've done is focus on Batman, Hitler, Orange Guy. They have no policies. They steal all this freaking money and they have no plans. No, nothing. It's just sucking the money dry, making themselves rich and looking good, and to pay for the gel in Gavin Newsom's hair, Pat. And I'm happy that they're all getting exposed.
Tom, where you at with this? By the way, great commentary. Where you at, Tom?
We talked about this 2 weeks ago when the Minnesota fraud was only, what, 6? Now it's 9.2, what I saw this morning.
Yep.
So it's about to be double-digit billions in Minnesota. And there were analysts out there, neutral analysts were saying, look at the population in Minnesota, look at what they were doing. California is doing some of the same things. You know what that means? If there's similar fraud in California, buckle up, because the number is going to be stratospheric. And remember, Democrats were even commenting on the $2 billion in Minnesota. Well, you know, we have to do something here. There's $2 billion in fraud. Yes, that has to do it. So people were out there trying to position themselves for success. And analysts were saying, look, it's going to be far bigger than that. When you get to California, it's going to be even worse. This is a state that has just skimmed off itself, which you just heard Vinny talk about. Oh, this price you pay, this price we pay. Hey, we're the state. We'll keep something in the middle. You know, good grief, it's socialism has come all the way down to, you know, the medical services that they're trying to provide to the people. You know, that's just to me, it's incredible. It's nothing like what's in Minnesota. It's 6 times worse, and that's just what they're talking about. 68 billion, and then 128 on the train, and 18 is gone. Where did the 18 go? It went to studies. It went to political hacks. It went to elections. Talking about the train. It went to an architecture firm. No, wait a minute. The architecture firm apparently did some actual work and talking about the planning, where it had to go and where it'll be next to farmland and going by bridges. That's actual work to build a plan. So as long as on the government dole, it wasn't like $3 billion for the plan, but at least there was something there. This is catastrophic, and Gavin Newsom is just moving it on out. But let me tell you something. You know who paid for this? The American taxpayer, because the states get relief from the federal government when they run into issues, and they hide behind disaster areas. So all the fires and the federal money that came in on the fires, there was no money in the first place for the fires because they were bankrupt and the reservoirs were dry. This is the 6th largest economy in the world that is being run like, and I'm going to get in trouble here, like freaking Haiti under Baby Doc.
Adam, where you at with this?
Well, California needs a Doge or something to figure out where the hell all this money is going. It's so incredible. PBD, I remember when you did a breakdown between Disneyland in California versus Disney World in Florida at the height of COVID, and it was just so shocking to see the glaring differences between a well-run state and a state that's just missing billions spent on whatever that doesn't do anything. Florida, low taxes, limited regulation, budget surplus, net positive migration, safer community. California, the exact opposite. High taxes, 13% if you're in the top tax bracket, heavy regulation. We heard how long it takes to just even build a bathroom outside of a mall or anything like that. The deficit is plummeting, dangerous, homelessness, crime, net migration, negative. But this is what California is. So, guys, the waters are fine here in Florida. Come on down. I know a lot of people are ready to leave California. They're going to Texas. They're going to Nevada. Some people are going to Florida. But at what point are we going to say Gavin Newsom is just not a good leader? But he's going to be the most likely candidate for the Democratic Party in 2028. We'll see.
Pat, can I ask you a question, though? How is it that he spent $24 billion to try to help homelessness? Nothing worked. Billions of dollars for this railway, they didn't lay one brick. How is that not criminal? And how is the people not saying, hey, wait a minute, we're spending all this money, you're taxing the hell out of us, Hollywood is finished, everybody's moving out, and you keep wanting us to vote and keep this blind loyalty to a party that is literally raping you guys for everything that you have. Pat, how is that not Najat? We know people that have stolen 100 grand, 50 grand, and the law's coming after you. This is crazy. This is insanity. We're talking about 50, 70 billion dollars. How's he not in jail?
It's so true. I mean, we know people that steal $100,000 and they're going to end up having a misdemeanor and felony on their records for the rest of their lives. When they go applying for jobs, they're always going to have to say, do you have a felony or misdemeanor? And that company does a background check. It's going to say yes. But imagine at this level of a governor doing that. So as much as these numbers are going to do whatever they're going to do, whoever's going against Newsom, the Republicans are kind of, their messaging right now is not perfectly fine yet. Like, there are some issues. There are some within the party. There are some real big wars going on, a lot of real wars, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I'm going to get to the economy first. The Barry Weiss and Megyn Kelly and all the stuff that's going on, these are real issues that are taking place. There is nothing more exciting than when I run into people that are wearing this gear, Merry Christmas, boldly. Mario's been wearing this every day, wherever he's going, the VT gear here, the future looks bright. And when you open it up here, it says future looks bright. I love seeing the future looks bright hat that Tom's got on, or you got the faith over fear gear. Record-breaking number of people are wearing the merch gear that we have with us. And there's some massive announcements that I'll be making here very, very soon to you guys, what our plans are going into 2026 with this of VT merch. We want tens of millions of people to represent this year. My suggestion to you, wear these things boldly. If you support our brand, you like what we do, you don't want us to take money from Qatar or some of these other organizations that are coming and offering money to own podcasts and shows, I highly recommend you support brands that are able to give their opinions and thoughts freely. And if you believe the future looks bright like we do, I am certain the future looks bright. Let me give you guys a crazy story. In 1997, Apple did $816 million of losses. Their top line revenue in 1997, they lost $816 million in 1997. Today, Apple makes $1.1 billion per day.
Wow.
They lost $1 billion in a year in 97. Today, they make $1.1 billion a day. They believe the future looks bright. Now they're a $4 trillion organization. For us, for some of you guys that may be celebrating Christmas, and honestly, maybe things weren't going right for you. Maybe I've had the Christmas when I'm sitting, I'm like, is anything going to turn around for me? Is life going to change at all? Like, is this how it's going to be? What am I going to get my break? You know that feeling how like you feel like, man, like you're carrying a lot, like the feeling of you go to Christmas and everybody's giving gifts. And it's like that one movie, 4 Christmases, where Dallas, Denver, all the brothers come in. And Vince Vaughn is the big brother that's making all this money now. And he brings the recent Xbox and he brings all this stuff. And he says, did you not see the minimum of $10? And the dad gives the other guy a flashlight. I don't know if you guys remember that scene. Sometimes that may be the Christmas. Things are not going right for you. Yesterday, Vinny was sharing a story with me, which is an incredible, incredible story that I want to share with you guys, which is what we believe in. Have you ever heard of a guy named Jack Strauss? You ever heard of Jack Strauss? Can you do me a favor, Humberto? Type in Jack Strauss, then put poker. Jack Strauss, Strauss, and type in poker. Craziest story of Jack Strauss. One day, Jack Strauss in 1982, this man that Humberto's about to pull up his picture because Humberto's so fast and quick and phenomenal. This guy's playing poker in 1982. He's in a World Series poker tournament, okay? Right there. That man right there. Zoom in a little bit. He's in the 1982 World Series poker. You know the big tournament that people win $10 million? In 1982, that guy right there is getting off the table because he called all in and he has no chips left. He's thinking. He gets up to leave. And then all of a sudden they say, no, Jack, you have one last $500 chip left. He says, you're kidding me. They said, no. All right. I mean, you only got one chip left, $500, which is what? Nothing. He takes the $500 chip and he keeps doubling it and doubling it and doubling it and doubling it. You know what ends up happening to him? He wins the flipping 82 World Series poker.
Wow.
Did you hear the story? Well, some of you are watching this. You're like, dude, I'm down to my last chip. I'm trying to figure life out. I went all into my business. I took money out of my 401k. My wife and I wanted to start a restaurant. we did this. This Christmas was rough. We stayed home. We didn't go anywhere. We got some basic gifts, $10 Amazon gift cards. Life can turn around if you think long-term. That's what we believe in. That's what happened to every single one of us, because we believe the future looks bright. So if you believe the future looks bright and you support our brand, go to vtmerch.com, place an order for yourself, whether it's the Merry Christmas gear, whether it's the future looks bright, faith over fear, or the shoes, FLB. We're excited about big plans we got in 2026, and I'll tell you more about it in the first week that we do the podcast in January of 2026.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.